Well, that's different. There we are. Good evening, Lisa. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women Thrive Media. Ed for you out of Spain. Isn't that exciting? If you come in to have a chat tonight, please let us know where you're coming in from. Lisa, I know you're out there in Geraldton, Western Australia, the Gascoyne region as it is known. On tonight's show, on Soul and Beyond, we're going to talk about how to have a mind of infinite possibilities. How to have a mind of infinite possibilities. We're going to go through what that is, what difference does it make for you in your life, what might happen if you aligned your thoughts with your highest good. In a word, that means that you come into miracles. Yeah, not only Jesus can create miracles, you're a miracle in yourself and you can create them. We'll go into that a little bit more in the show. I'd just like to welcome everyone in wherever you're coming in from, wherever you're watching. Welcome to Soul and Beyond. And as I said, we're on Women Thrive TV. I'm Gwenda, your host. What do I say about who I am? Maybe I'd rather say what I do for you than who I am. Good evening, Maria, and welcome. Thankfully, daylight savings has finished over your side of the world. And Michelle, hi, Michelle. So now it's not quite so late for you ladies. As a title might go, integrative wellness and spiritual healing mentor, holistic was the word, because I look at you and I can look into you, as most of you know, and see what's going on with your organs, because I have many years of experience as a scrub nurse in the theatres. I know what it is that I'm looking at. It's very helpful. I love those years, by the way. Amazing. I don't understand why a lot of people don't really like the conversation over the dinner table, but hey, you know, it's the way life goes. Some of the things that I experienced as a scrub nurse would possibly leave you without an appetite. So was that a possibility for me? You see, from the age of 8, my thing was that I wanted to be a nurse. That's what I would tell my family when they asked me. I wanted to be a nurse. It was around the age of 9 or 10 when I blurted out in the back of the school bus, look at the lady up there in the window in the old-fashioned dress. Learnt very quickly that day not to express what I could see. Children are nasty little creatures. Thank you, Maria, and that is correct. That's spot on. Hi, Tanya. Oh, you just remembered Tuesday night, Soul and Beyond. So from very early in my life, in fact, my memories go back to being 4 and my father telling me the story of he and Mum coming in to say goodnight to me, and I was not in my bed and I was 5 years of age. They hurried around the house looking for me because they said that I used to sleepwalk. They couldn't find me, and then they heard me giggling. And when they came back to the room, they couldn't figure it out until I giggled again. And there I was sitting up on top of the wardrobe. Now, in those days, wardrobes didn't have handles, didn't have steps. They just had a flat door, or the ones we had, flat door with a key. Dad said I scared the living daylights out of my parents, and they could never figure how I got up on top of that wardrobe. Now, fast forward a little bit to the days of the TV, and what should come on but a show called Bewitched. Oh, I was enthralled with Bewitched, and my favourite character was Endora. I had a very, let's say, familiarity with Endora. I'll leave that for you to think about. But as a child, I can remember watching that show and just knowing I can do that. I can do that. So it was that I became a nurse. And then I wanted to go into theatre. Well, not every nurse got into theatre, but that's what I wanted. And that's what I did. And then, hi, Cat Gray. Yes, Tanya is awesome. I still love it. And I still love Endora, even though I'm older and know she's a wicked girl. So what I'm painting to you here is possibilities. Or is it? Is it making reality? Now, tonight is about how to have a mind of infinite possibilities. If we look at that word and we say, I possibly could, do you see a difference? A difference to how to have a mind of infinite possibilities versus I possibly could. Words are extremely powerful. And when you're ready to explore what's possible for your life, you will understand that the way you think has a lot to do with what you achieve, what miracles, what healing, what anything in your life. Many years ago, it's now, bordering on 18 years ago, I wrote on a piece of paper and I stuck it on the wall in my then reading room, consult reading room. And then I changed it across to a whiteboard and I wrote on that I am going to be an international speaker to bring the world of spirit to everyone, to know spirit and to know how to heal. I wrote that on the wall over 18 years ago. Did it happen right away? No, because I got in my own way and I went and did some other things. But what I did do was start to be a speaker at different events, not on spirituality though, not on being aligned with your highest good. We might say it was a practice run, a confidence building exercise. But the fact is, I set that in motion. I claimed it. I am, not I could, I might, I'd like to. You see how we put our thoughts into the spoken word, the written word. Whoa, the written word carries equally as much power as the spoken word. Did you know that? So whatever we put into writing is what we are basically cementing in place. So we've got to be careful. So if you want to have a mind of infinite possibilities, it can't collide all the time with maybes, could be's, I might, it might happen, I wish I had. And most often it's I don't, I can't. Even if it's down to I can't see that. Yes, Tanya. And where's that taken you? Tanya's saying, I often write what I'm going to have, where I'll be, what I will be doing. So where has that taken you? I used to live in a house that the clothesline, from the clothesline, I could see this most beautiful resort. And I'd, Christine, hello and welcome. From that resort, while hanging my washing, I would look out at that resort and say, I will work there. And I did. I went to a 4.5-star hotel in the deep south of Western Australia. I was an advertising executive. I pulled into the semicircular driveway and went, oh my gosh, look at this place. And then when I walked inside, I went, oh, I will work here. And I did for 10 years. You command everything that comes into your life. Now, going to just qualify that a little bit. I'm buying the house I love. Business is growing too. You're not bad, Tanya, not bad. Needs a little tweaking, love, and we'll get that tonight. So everything that comes in our life, we have been the creator. Now, some people are going to blow a fuse and go, well, and they'll talk about someone else or they'll talk about themselves, always to do with lack of money or their health. And people say, why would I do that? That's ridiculous. And of course, they get cranky about it. What's Maria saying? When I manifested my home, thought I'd be cheeky and asked for a church close to me. Lo and behold, there was a church hidden 2 minutes from me in Willagee. There you go, Maria. Beautiful. Beautiful. God does have a sense of humour, as do the angels, very much. And your guides, oh my gosh, guides have a very strong sense of humour, and some of them are also mischievous. So you do need to be careful how you work with them as well. You get things that maybe you didn't really want, but there it is. So when people blow a fuse about being told that everything in their life has been created by them, it shows that they are not in alignment with their higher self. It shows that they are not in alignment with their infinite mind. You see, you are an infinite, as you know, those of you who spend a lot of time with me, an infinite being, eternal, infinite being. And you're only caught here in this matrix and led to believe that this is it. Biggest fib ever. So when you start to recognize your thoughts, you will heal. You know, my own experiences, I know that to be true. I wouldn't be here in front of you now 4 times over if it wasn't for the fact that I know this is not it, and that there is a tremendous power around you all the time and within you. A friend of our family was driving down the freeway here, and all of a sudden she skidded off and hit the railings. And because it's 100k, 110k zone, the car flew up in the air and it rolled and smashed and rolled and smashed and rolled and rolled. And witnesses were in shock and horrified. The car, you can imagine, it slammed into the barriers and then it flipped up in the air, long way, and it rolled and rolled and rolled. No one could believe when she crawled out by herself. And after the fact, neither could she when she saw the video footage. But what she told people while she was still in shock and injured, there was someone, she says someone was in the car, and when it hit the railing, she heard them say, "I've got you, I've got you." And they pulled her out of the car, and all the time saying, "I've got you, I've got you." It changed her life. And it's a shame that it takes trauma, tragedy, tremendous loss for people to recognize that there is a far greater power outside of you and within you that you can align with. So having a mind of infinite possibilities means being able to accept this isn't it. What you see around you is not as solid, confined, and rigid as what it appears. Let's explore what truly is possible for you in your life. And what I want you to think about is, what is a possibility that you want? Remember the language. I'm not asking you to tell me of something that could possibly happen, because you're in your mind. I want you out of your mind. When would it ever have been thought that's a good idea to be out of your mind? It's always been sold to you that if you're out of your mind, oh dear, you've got a problem. I want you out of your mind, and I want you just to be your imaginative, amazing self. So what would be a possibility for you? Remember, a nurse, theatre scrub nurse. Oh, looking over my washing line. Resort, yes, I will work there. Fish and chip shop down the road from home when I was 14. I'll work there. It's close to home, I can walk. And I did. Hey, Mandy. My mum and dad weren't well off. So if I wanted, mum and dad said, if I wanted the fancy Levi jeans, which by the way I didn't, but what the other girls were wearing, which by the way I didn't want, it's not my thing, but I had to get a job to be able to get the things I wanted. Well, in those days we had a milkman, and the milkman had a ute, and on the back was all the crates of bottled milk, glass bottled milk, and the boys that would jump on and off. My dad knew the milkman, and I said to Dad, I want to work on the milk run. And he said, oh, I don't know if you can. I said, I want to work on the milk run. So next time he was talking to Mr. Kershaw, he said, Gwenda wants to work on the milk run. And he said, girls aren't allowed. This was in the 60s. Girls aren't allowed. 60s, early 70s. Really? I want to work on the milk run. I will work on the milk run. And guess what? I was the first girl in Western Australia to work on a milk run. And didn't those boys give me what for? They reckoned I wouldn't be able to get on and off. They told Mr. Kershaw that I would hold them up. I wouldn't be able to carry 6 and 8 bottles like they could. I wouldn't be able to carry a crate of a dozen milk bottles. Really? I wouldn't be able to get on and off the back of the ute like they could. Really? So I would hold them up. Yeah, right. I had a ball working on that milk run. Showed them a thing or two. Oh, I like that, Tanya. Teaching others how to create a sustainable garden, biodiverse gardens. Beautiful. Well, that's definitely within your reach, isn't it? Keep writing it, keep seeing it. Maria, that's right. Thank you. I love that memory, and I like to visit that memory. So it was really cool fun, and it didn't take long for those boys to know it was best not to bait me. Though there was always one smart aleck that thought that he could, you know, push the boundaries, but possibilities. Yoo-hoo, Lisa, awesome. Did you deliver the milk too? So, what is truly possible for your life? Anything. Anything. What it means is how you go about putting it into play, how you go about pulling it into your reality. Like Maria says that she was being cheeky and wanted a church close to me. And there it is, 2 minutes, but it was hidden, but it was there. What might happen if you were to align your thoughts with your highest good? Now, for those of you who are in the mind, you'll be like, well, I don't know, how do I find my highest good? What is my highest good? How do I know if I'm in my highest good? Well, I want you out of your mind. So you need to step out of your mind. To know your highest good is to use practices like prayer, yoga, silence, nature, eating what I call conscious eating. Those are the things that take you to your highest good. Sitting in a place of sacred space, creating a sacred space, and calling in your soul to guide you and to show you what is of your highest good. The other way you can do it is to ask that everything that comes my way today be of and for my highest good. You don't need to know anything. When it comes to your highest good and the guidance of your soul, you don't need to know here. You need to be in alignment with your heart and your highest self. Now, in between those two is this noisy thing here in the brain box. And that is your biggest obstacle, because you've been taught to believe certain things. You've also been taught to think in a certain way. You know, I mentioned about what I wrote on my wall 18 years ago about being a speaker. So I figured if I wanted to be a professional speaker, best I go and pay someone to teach me. Best I go and join some speaking organisations. Well, I've done all of that for a very short time. You know why? A bit like the Levi thing. I don't fit in their boxes. I'm not interested in fitting in their boxes. This world conditions you. This world treats you in a certain way so that you will be framed to believe things about yourself, about life, about healing, about money, about everything, right? The school system, your peers, your workplace, everything is formulated in this matrix to frame you to be a certain person. I've never fitted into that. I've always been on the outer. What about you? Where do you sit? Now, if you are in your headspace, please don't say you've always sat on the outer. If you worry about fitting in or you have health issues, then you are struggling between fitting in and not fitting in. And I can help you with that. I understand what that is like. So when I went to these different how to speak organizations and a coach, every one of them talked about you have to stand a certain way, you have to hold your hands a certain way, you have to hold your head a certain way, you have to speak this way, you have to introduce this way, your talk must be in these parameters. And as soon as they all started that, I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. This is not for me. So if you want to be a person who is in your place of infinite possibilities, then you cannot be sitting in a box that has been created and orchestrated by people who tell you this is how things need to be. Because what are you in that? You are no different to anyone else. You know, there is a particular word, thank you, Tanya. There's a particular word that's been bandied around for the last maybe 5 or so, maybe a bit more years, authentic. You know, be authentic. So these speaker places and events talk about being your authentic self. Oh, it's the biggest joke under the sun. How can you be your authentic self when you have to speak this way, stand that way, do this, do that, do this? How's that authentic? That is being a clone and fitting in. You're never going to be able to break the barriers and feel really your true authentic self by fitting in the barriers. How are you going so far? Yes, me too, Tanya, me too. And I don't want to be any other way. And where it doesn't work for people, I couldn't care less. It's not my problem. You know why? Because this is my life. So circling around to how to have a mind of infinite possibilities means you have to understand and claim this is your life. It's not anybody else's. It's not your children's. It's not your spouse. It's not your parents. It's not your friends. It's definitely not your employer or anybody in any frame of business association. Because if I put it in really harsh terms, should you happen to leave this world tonight, life goes on, right? And everyone that was trying to tell you how to fit in here, be like this, do this, blah, blah, do they even give you half an hour? No. When you're gone, you're gone. And life goes on for them and everybody else, right? Well, that's a great comment, Tanya. You will never express yourself if you confine to the box. Now, those people are like speaking coaches and speaking event organizers and speaker institutes and things. They would challenge that because they'd say, of course you can express yourself. You can express yourself with your story. Just do it this way. And make sure you only use these hand movements and make sure you only use this movement with your head. What part of that do they not get? It's a box. Michelle, it is hard breaking away from people and establishments that you've been with your whole life. And I respect that, Michelle, and understand it. It comes down to being able to really know who you are and being comfortable with who you are. So breaking away from establishments, awful word, breaking away from establishments first up. Like I said, should you happen to leave this world, what do you think would happen about you in that establishment after you've gone? Nothing. Courage is the cure. Greetings and love, love, love back to you. Boy, this is a good conversation for you to join tonight, Robin. So breaking away from people. Now, what Michelle hasn't put in there is family, long-time friends, associates. Well, I'm going to be the nurse tonight and say it as it is. You're in your hospital bed or your hospice bed, your family, your friends, they flow in and out. Oh, thank you, Robin. Likewise, they come in and out as you are drifting in and out of life. They say their goodbyes and you leave. And then it's time for the big farewell. I don't like that other word, that other F word for saying goodbye to people. I call it a farewell. And then what? Where's all your worry? What do they do with your concern about staying in their life, being the person they want you to be after you've gone? I want you all to remember that. Mandy, this breaking away happened to me, and at a time it was devastating, but I promise by the grace of God something so much more incredible comes along if you open your heart. Thank you, Mandy. That is very true. And if you also are standing in full conviction that it is your life and there's nothing wrong with you, that, good evening, Sharon Thomas, welcome, that there is a greater aspect of you, that aspect that knows how to bring in the infinite possibilities that wait for you to say yes, that wait for you to go, bring it on, it's mine. Now, this can come down to something as simple as losing weight. Some people make statements like, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't lose weight, or I lose weight, it finds me again, and sometimes more than what I lost. Well, they're claiming that, and quite often repeatedly. My back always plays up at the wrong time. So what are we commanding when we say things like that? I can't be myself in front of XYZ because they won't like me. Well, who are you going to be then? Are you going to be what you think they want you to be? That's a really bad mix there. Cat Gray, courage is the cure. The heart spaces people have welcomed me into is amazing, alive and gone. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Robin. Cat Gray, I've been deleting people from my life. It's a good feeling, isn't it? The toxic being friends or family and standing up to others that want me to agree with their views. Ah, strong girl, courageous girl. Well done, Cat Gray. I tell them I respect and love you, but those are your views, not mine. Very good. And good standing, good grounding in yourself. Well done. Sharon says, needed to hear this for sure. Thank you, Sharon. Hang in there, girl. We've got some more to go yet. Mandy, standing fully in your truth and be your authentic self and trust that it is all is happening for you. Absolutely, Mandy. And as Mandy can attest to, getting to know your authentic self, your true authentic self, is quite a path in itself. So here tonight, for you to begin this beautiful, thank you very much, Robin. Thank you for the share, and everyone else who shares the show on your Facebook page, your YouTube, wherever. Thank you, much appreciated. looking at the ways that you can shift this so that you are in a mind of infinite possibilities means first for you to really check out where you're at in the way you present yourself to others, the way you think about yourself around others. Do you think strongly, boldly, courageously of yourself when you're with others, or do you back away? Are you careful? Are you quiet? Will you share your views, or do you suppress them? Now, I will say here, it doesn't mean that you have to be like a wrecking ball. That's the worst thing you can do, in fact, because then you will go right up into the headspace and that little fella, the ego. To come into a place of boldness, a place of courage, oh, that's awesome. And how's it feel, Tanya? To come into that place is what stands you into your authentic self. You know, when I was in hospitality, there was an older lady at the time who used to take all newbies shopping and to the hairdresser and to Myers to the makeup stand. Yes, it sure does feel great. When I started in there, some of the younger ones said to me, well, it's going to be fun to see how so-and-so gets you to go shopping. And I'm like, what's that about? So the day came and she came to my office and she said, oh, we need to go shopping at lunchtime. And I said, oh, we do? And she's like, yeah. Yeah, I really need to take you down to Myers and teach you how to dress corporately. Red flag. And while we're there, I'm going to take you to the makeup counter because really need to know how to put your makeup on, you know, for the corporate world. Second red flag. And that hair, which you can't really see tonight. That hair, got to do something with that hair. When she quite finished, now this woman wielded a lot of power in the office, and the young ones were, yes, Lisa, it was red flags to a bull, a lion in this case. The young ones were actually hovering to hear what would happen. So I stood up because I'd been sitting down. I stood up from my desk and I said to this person, I will dress the way that expresses me. I will do my makeup in the way that suits me. And actually, I teach makeup. And as for my hair, it's wild, free, and frantically beautiful, like me. Thanks anyway. And I sat back down. The young ones couldn't believe it. They were horrified. They said that there would be a storm in the office. Well, it did take a while for her to, talk to me again after that. Melanie Cortez, hello, beautiful. That shifted things in the office for me. And some might say, was it all good? Well, I don't care. I will not have someone else come and frame me in the way that they say is the way to be. My soul doesn't want that. Your soul doesn't either. Your soul wants expansion. Your soul wants to shine, and it wants to express itself in its beauty, in its radiance, in all its glory. Thanks, Kat. Yeah, she never tried again. She would just frown at me when she'd look me up and down. I get that look and I just smile and walk on by and flick my hair. So to have your life be a place of infinite possibilities means that you need to align with your highest good. Come into a field of possibilities by recognizing your thoughts. Have you downloaded the Gwenda method yet? You can get that on the website, healwithgwenda.com. And that will take you on the journey of really being able to align with your higher self. And then being able to recognize your thoughts. So we do one step at a time, because this is quite a pathway for everyone that's watching. It's a pathway. It's not a 5-second thing. It's not like going in to buy an ice cream or a beer. It's nothing like that. It's an ongoing journey. And every little step you take is a win. Every little change you make is a win, and possibilities open all around you, and you become the miracle maker. Have fun exploring your mind of infinite possibilities. Now, something that I didn't tell you at the start, and we might run just a couple of minutes over. It is, isn't it, Mandy? A special little treat to close off tonight's show. Entities and spirit intrusion. Who's ready for that? We're just going to spend a few minutes on this. And the reason that this has come in is thanks to a most beautiful archangel. Zadriel is one of the most beautiful archangels. We always say that about them, right? But they are. And Ezekiel. Good on you, Sharon. Hold on to your seat. Have you ever had the sense when you're sleeping or going to sleep that something is trying to get into you? Have you ever had the sense of is a cold hand or an impression of a cold energy as if it's trying to push right through you? Been held down on the bed, had thoughts that you're like, that doesn't sound like me. These are indicators of spirit intrusion. Entity intrusion is a whole other ball game, and one that you really need to hold on to your senses and be very well clear in your energy, in your thoughts, and protect your energy. Spirit intrusion, in my experience, a lack of self-preservation. The world makes you forget our connection. It's designed to do exactly that, Robin. Yep, make you forget your connection. But at the moment, in this last couple of months, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of hype about the energy, and there being a very strong and a very confused energy. And people are expressing, feeling these energies in very heavy ways, even down to suicidal ideologies, and deep, dark depressions, mental issues. This is all because somewhere along the line, as Robin has pointed out, the world makes you forget your connection. So a spirit can only intrude on you. They can intrude if you're under the influence of drugs, influence of alcohol, because there's no filters, there's no protection. But on an everyday life, it very much comes in with what Robin has said, and people are not aligned, as Mandy says. So what I want you to also put into your mind of infinite possibilities tonight is that there is no space for anything less than your highest good, and there is no acceptance of anything that is less than your divine self. Simply making those statements. So if you have any kind of sense of something else being around you, feel like you're hearing voices, feel like your thoughts are not your own, intrusions in the night, that is all you have to say, is that there is no welcome, no acceptance of anything less than my highest good and anything less than my divine self. This brings you into a place of very high self-preservation. It also means it's a command. Remember when I was talking about your mind of infinite possibilities? You command what it is that you are wanting to bring into your life. Will you also command what is not permitted? And while this energy of disturbance, great disturbance, is around, then it's a very important time for you to make sure that you make those kind of commands. The world is going through, or humans are going through, an interesting era. And the higher you hold your energy field and you make those commands, the more you contribute to the future of humanity in a way that is of humanity as a collective greatest good. And that's what I wanted to close with for you tonight. This all interlinks with holding your mind in a place of highest possibilities and keeping you in a place of connection with your divine self and the divine of God. The light of God is the strongest, not the light of the universe. Those of you who know me know why I say that. The ripple effect. Yes, Mandy. What do we do when there is a pile on of people to connect when they are not invited? Robin, what do we do when there is a pile of people to connect when they are not invited? You shield and send them away. You actually command that command of anything and anyone that is less than your highest good. You command that they are moved and removed from your field. And you will find that they will not come to you. I can help you more with that. Amen, Melanie. Lisa says, an interesting era. I feel that may be a slight understatement, Gwenda. I was being polite, Lisa, you know. Stay in high vibes. Yeah, Kat, not everybody knows how to do that or even what that means. So making that leap wild. Hello. So timely and relevant. So good to know you were there. You're very welcome. Courage is the cure. Let's have more of a chat on that if you like. And you are always welcome to reach out to me at the website. You're welcome to download. There's free ebooks on there to help you with the steps of how to do these things, how to hold yourself in what Kat calls the high vibration. But simply making those statements that anything less than your highest good and your divine self is not welcome. There is no space. It's a funny thing, and I'm going to use the word universal. There are universal laws, and they must be adhered to. As soon as you understand them and you use them, you step into your mind of infinite possibilities, and you become your infinite, most authentic, powerful self. Thank you for joining me tonight. Oh, Tanya, so glad I remembered to tune in tonight. You're very welcome. And Lisa, come and join us in the Spiritual School of Wesh. Definitely. Please do come and do that. Command to send them to the light. No, you don't need to do that. Simply the words that I was giving, Maria. Just the words I was giving. It's not our place to demand where they go or command. We don't know where they're from. So, yeah. So thank you, everyone, very much. I look forward to seeing you or now. If next week is Easter weekend, you'll see from the post if I'm here or not. Have a blessed Easter and a great rest of your week. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Sharon.